Baldur's Gate is returning to the video game industry with Baldur's Gate 3, and my guess is it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. The announcement of Baldur's Gate 3 is very, very interesting, guys. The last Baldur's Gate was released in 2000. That's Baldur's Gate 2 Shadows of Am. If you even know that name, it means you're old as shit. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are known to be some of the best classic RPGs of all time. They are hardcore RPGs with a lot of substance and complexity, a lot of decisions to be made, and a lot of character progression and investment to be had. Also, a lot of strategy. I'm sure Baldur's Gate 3 will overall be similar in fashion, but maybe with some more modern twists and ideas to also help introduce some of the younger generations of gamers into a more classic hardcore form of RPG. I absolutely cannot wait to see what this game brings, and hey, if you're actually interested in trying out the old Baldur's Gates, they did turn them into an enhanced edition which is available on all of the current consoles and PC. So before I get too deep into it, I'll answer the quick general questions. Yes, it will support online cooperative play, but no, we don't know how many players as of yet. I'll speculate about that specifically later in this video. We also do not have a release date at this time. They keep telling us it's done when it's done. I love hearing this. It sounds like a company who cares truly about their product and wants it to be just right versus getting it out half-assed with strict deadlines for a money grab. Baldur's Gate 3 will most definitely be available on PC and Google Stadia at launch. Consoles, we're not sure of yet, but they did not say no, so that's a good thing. Larian Studios said they will not participate in being an exclusive game, so maybe that means it will be available on consoles, whether at launch or at a later date, who knows. We are also not sure if split-screen couch co-op will be available or not, but once again, they did not say no, so it's definitely a possibility. Now, it's important to know what game series we are actually talking about when we say Baldur's Gate 3, because there were in fact many games with the Baldur's Gate name in the title. So Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were created by BioWare in 1998 and 2000. Now, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2 were made in 2001 and 2004 and not by BioWare. In fact, they are very different games from Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Different games by different companies with different playstyles. They did share some of the same Forgotten Realms lore, but they are both set in different times with much different characters. Believe it or not, there is a new Dark Alliance game coming out in 2020 as well, but like its predecessors, it's going to be a very different game from Baldur's Gate 3. If you're interested in hearing more about the new Dark Alliance game, I did do a video on that as well, and it's on my channel. I will link it below. So Baldur's Gate 3 will be similar to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and it takes place after those games, so expect to experience a lot of new content. But at the same time, there will be references to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 for you old folks. Larian Studios is the company behind the development of this game. They are a company based out of Belgium that has a lot of experience with RPG games, most famously noted for their Divinity Original Sin games. BioWare made the original two Baldur's Gates, like I said before, which were great games, but now BioWare is controlled by EA, and some of their latest releases, such as Anthem, I don't even want to say the name, have garnished their reputation a bit, so I'm excited that Larian will be handling this one this time around. You can tell from their interviews and videos that they're extremely passionate about this game and have a lot invested into it. They are a company that is full of love for the D&D world. We'll take a look inside their studio. Wizards of the Coast will be publishing this game, just like they're also publishing the new Dark Alliance game coming out. Wizards of the Coast are a very successful company, and they own Dungeons & Dragons as well as Magic the Gathering. They are the lore masters. Now, we don't know a whole lot about this game, and they have remained pretty quiet since their trailer launch in June or July, I can't remember, earlier this year. And if you didn't play the old Baldur's Gates 1 and 2, a lot of this video will kind of give you an idea what the game really will be like and see if it suits your playstyle. The Baldur's Gate games have always been heavily focused on relating to the rule sets from the tabletop Dungeons & Dragons games. Baldur's Gate 3 in particular will be based off the 5th edition rule set from Dungeons & Dragons. We are told that Larian heavily referenced the 5th edition D&D handbook to create the mechanics and rules behind what we will experience in the video game Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate games 1 and 2 were what a classic true RPG used to be. Nowadays, the term RPG is used to describe many games, which is fine, because essentially the words role-playing game are not very specific. But anyone who played Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 knows that this type of classic RPG is kinda hardcore, heavily based on investment in your character in all sorts of ways, as well as a heavy involvement in the story. Larian Studios knows this, of course, so I think we can assume that Baldur's Gate 3 might revive the older, more hardcore style of RPGs that really focused on good dialogue and true substance to a game. That's really exciting because if Larian can hold true to that, but also give us a more modern touched up combat system, this game could be deadly. So expect Baldur's Gate 3 to be full of substance as well as complexity and difficult situations. This will be a turnoff for some, but others like myself absolutely love games that are complex because they typically can offer a longer and much more satisfying experience. Be prepared to learn and practice things, and then feel that amazing sense of achievement you will get from accomplishing things in the game. So Baldur's Gate 3 will have cooperative play mode. How exactly will they do this will be interesting to see. In the old Baldur's Gate, your party size was up to 6 people total, you and usually 5 NPCs, or you could do it with up to 5 friends. It was very confusing and a difficult system to make work, and oftentimes it worked better with just one friend, both of you controlling 3 characters each. But that still also had its fair share of problems. Solo overall was the best way, and the game just generally seemed to be designed for it. But you gotta remember, these Baldur's Gate games were made in the 90s and early 2000s. Baldur's Gate 3 will be very modern in terms of technology and strategies to make multiplayer work. So I think we will get a pretty sweet co-op opportunity in this game. It's really exciting to think about. Now the combat is something that everyone is very curious about. In an interview by Game Central with Larian Studios, we find out a little bit about it. Larian Studios said, when you play D&D, he's referring to the tabletop game, you get thrown challenges that you need to overcome. Some of these challenges require you to go into combat, and to ensure player agency, you have to give the players a whole bunch of systems so that they can use them in any way they want to overcome the challenges that are thrown at them. That's what we did in DOS 2, because in DOS 2, which is Divinity Original Sin 2, people came up with the craziest ways of winning unwinnable combat. That's also what we'll do in Baldur's Gate 3. You're going to see combat that is very easy, and you're going to see combat that is hard. You have an entire toolbox at your disposal, which goes beyond just a rule set. It also depends on your imagination so that you overcome situations in a variety of ways. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of choices and options available to overcoming challenges in Baldur's Gate 3, outside of just brute force and killing things. We are also told that there will be a lot of freedom in this game, especially when it comes to environmental freedom. If anyone here has played Divinity Sin, you will have experienced some of the environmental freedom that Larian likes to offer, and they said that they would like to go even further than that with Baldur's Gate 3. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the lore and the actual setting of the game itself. As the name says it, guys, this game will once again take place in or close to the city of Baldur's Gate. Anyone who is familiar with the Forgotten Realms will probably know of the city. The Forgotten Realms is a fantasy setting filled with strange lands, dangerous creatures, and mighty deities where magic and the supernatural phenomena are quite real. The most famous setting in the Forgotten Realms is the continent of Faerûn. Not sure if I'm saying that right, guys. I am a fan though, I've read a lot of books, I've just never looked up how to actually say that. Faerûn became a popular setting for Dungeons & Dragons games, as well as many authors such as R.A. Salvatore, who wrote the famous Legend of Drizzt book series. Baldur's Gate is a large city located on the western side of the continent, and let's just say it's got its fair share of lore. In the trailer, you see a weird-looking alien creature. Well, that's a mind flayer, otherwise known as an illithid, and yeah, you guessed it, they have invaded the city. These octopus aliens have some amazing psionic abilities that we're all going to be scared of. Once they take over your mind, they like to suck out your brains, and yeah, you guessed it again, you're dead. These creatures have the ability to levitate and also detect the thoughts of nearby creatures, so I'm sure it will be a mindfuck to fight some of these things. Now keep in mind though, if you are a nerd and you know some of the lore behind these creatures, mind flayers are being hunted themselves by Giths, whose life mission is to hunt these mind flayers down and bring their heads back to their queen. So maybe we can expect to encounter some of these crazy humanoids as well. Now judging by the trailer, we would think the mind flayers will be the main enemies and plot, but actually we're told that they are not the main bad guys. Interesting. Now since you made it this far in the video, guys, I'm assuming you are Baldur's Gate fans or very interested in it. So how about we talk about a couple quick secrets that can be noticed in the trailer itself. Number 1, if you're a hardcore nerd, you will notice that the crest of the guard is a flaming fist, which was a mercenary band that are supposed to maintain law and order in the lower city. They were essentially the police force of the lower city in Baldur's Gate. Number 2, in the background, it's said by a Larian employee themselves that you can see the Blushing Mermaid, which was a tavern that was in the original Baldur's Gate. I can't really find the identifying mark to confirm it in my own eyes, but it does look like it could be it. Number 3, When our fellow human friend here morphs into a mind flayer, we know that he has been infected by a mind flayer tadpole, but the morphing process into the new mind flayer's body is supposed to take a week. In the trailer, it takes almost less than 20 seconds to morph, so how could that be? Something to think about. In number 4, guys, in the sky, we see a flash and a large-looking creature thing. It's thought that this could be the god of the mind flayers, or it could even be a ship. It does look similar to the magic vessels that mind flayers use to travel through space. That's it, guys. I hope I didn't bore any of you guys, and any of you guys who might not really be familiar with Baldur's Gate, hopefully you kind of get an understanding of what this game might be like. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I have all sorts of videos on this channel, ranging from comedy videos to reviews to tutorials, and I also do live streams, so there's probably something for you. And like I said before, Dark Alliance is a game that's also being revived as well, being released in fall 2020. I did do a video on this game, and I'm pretty excited for that game as well. Link to that video will be below. I'll see you on the next one.